There was a tweet recently made by a VTuber who showed their face, and I guess they unfortunately lost a bunch of followers or whatever. I don't know. I made a response that I don't know if she saw it or cares about. That wasn't the point. Anyways, it's fine. But something I learned, even if you're someone who doesn't follow traditional VTubing and like me, shows their face in some of their content, but also respects VTubing culture, can get stuck in this really unfortunate middle ground of crossfire between people who find this to be nonsensical, I guess to put it lightly, and the people who are fond of traditional VTubing the way it originated, as someone playing a character, that the name and identity is kept separate from their real self. For all intents and purposes, again, I want to say, I respect this kind of VTubing. Without it, VTubing wouldn't be as popular as it is today. But yeah, in that comment section, there was a lot of people confused, I guess, about whether or not I was someone who was rooting for or against VTubing being what it is originally, and or not, basically. I don't know. Many of the most popular VTubers don't show their faces. So I get where a lot of people come from. They will tell someone like, oh, you broke immersion. And then other people are like, well, what the heck is that? If you're scared of a face or offended by that, that's silly. And then those people start arguing. And it's chaos. I don't know why people just don't understand that that is a matter of preference, and I don't really think it should be something that should be argued over. um I started as a face cam streamer. When I became a VTuber, I already created an online personality that is entirely separate from my real identity. I never used my real name as a username, and I don't like share my real name, but I just, I shared my face. I used my face cam. So when I became a VTuber, I simply evolved into a more the version of the creator I've always wanted to be, more myself, I felt. I've always loved anime and Vocaloid, and if I knew what VTubing was when I started streaming, and also if I was able to afford it, because only due to streaming with my face cam was I able to afford my VTube model, but I would have started as a VTuber if I had known many years ago. A lot of us are new to VTubing and just really happy to be here. A lot of people really welcome the idea of being anonymous in a way and playing a character, and there's also a lot of us who are or are becoming VTubers who have no intention of hiding our real faces. But we do wish to be mostly represented by the new wonderful models our artists have created for us, that I know any person feels after they commission a model. That first time you get to use it is such an honor. It's so exciting and fun. At least it should be. I know from personal experience how it cannot be fun if certain people treat you unfairly for becoming a VTuber, whether you are a facecam streamer or not prior. So it does beg the question, can VTubers show their faces? Of course we can. There are some people in this industry who are successful and growing still, who show their faces alongside their VTube models. There's a lot of room to grow in this small niche into something large and amazing with content creation. And I truly hope that the sort of rift between creators, due to the fact that some of our fans simply desire to curate their own experiences according to their own personal interests. And sometimes, as a creator, your interests are not going to align with every single person who comes by and enjoys your content. If you're passionate about extending your content in a manner that you show your real face and also use a V2 model, no one's stopping you from doing so. Just know you will be among those of us who find ourselves in a bit of a gray area between the face cam creators and traditional VTubers who remain anonymous. we will have to band together and, you know, just push against the tide and create a space that there isn't this forced divide. God, that rhymed. Between people who try and force people into boxes. I can't for the life of me think why any person would assume there's a rule book as to what you can and cannot do as a content creator on the internet, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, yourself, or advocating hate, right? Like, the silly stigma led me to believe there wasn't a place for me as a VTuber on YouTube, because I thought VTubers on YouTube were only traditional VTubers. But then I realized there's VTubers just like the ones that I've seen on Twitch that do real face cam content and also be a VTuber for the most part. I love that idea. Like I said, I'm just happy to be here. I hope more of us can feel welcome and also respect the fact that when someone just wants to ingest a particular kind of content, we as creators shouldn't take it personally. Everyone is to each their own. We are here to create for those who enjoy it. And for those who don't, they'll find enjoyment elsewhere. Let that be up to them. That's not up to you. Just do your thing. That's what I'm out here doing. It also occurred to me the fact that there might be some people who do magically come across this who may have no prior explanation of the difference as well between kind of the VTuber I am and the VTubers I'm talking about, who basically have this choice, and then I guess the VTubers who technically don't have the choice. And it's just simply the fact that there is corporate VTubers. And the way that this works is, to put this in the most simple manner possible, is the same way Hollywood hires actors and actresses to play a role. A VTube company hires a talent to play a role. Now, is there way more leeway into basically the person writing their own script, essentially? Like, they, as a lot of things go along, most VTubers kind of take the reins and it's just they're set up with their design, their persona. But as far as I know, heck, some of them, you know, they come up with their own names and everything like that. And the company just kind of asks them to adhere to some basic rules as per a contract, right? It is a serious thing. It is a serious job. So that is the difference between the VTubers who do not, and I suppose cannot, show their faces. There are some VTubers in corporations, in organizations, whatever you want to call them, that they do show their faces. And their organization, corporation, whatever that is okay with it. That's fine. But most of them hire VTuber talents with the idea that the person acts the talent, while also kind of orchestrating their own personality through it, right? And that way they are playing a character and they are not really themselves. But there are a lot of VTubers who are coming into the space who are obviously not corporate. We are just regular content creators like other people that are content creators who just don't own VTube models. And would some of us love the opportunity to be corporate? Would some of us love the opportunity to have a design and a different name and re-debut part of an organization? I know a lot of people definitely would. Me, personally, giving up my personality, my name, I don't know, changing my design around and stuff like that, definitely. I want different outfits and everything, but I really like being myself, so I don't know if you'd ever see me in another form, but hey, anything can happen when you're a VTuber, and that is the beauty of VTubing. So I just wanted to kind of explain that in case anyone comes across this and is like, well, there definitely is some VTubers who cannot show their faces. Yeah, I guess by like probably their contract or something, maybe. But those of us who are indie VTubers, no rules.